Welcome back to another edition of Penn State Sports Night. I'm your host, Lexy Leidlein, alongside Jacob Cheris and Chris Lemmo. We had an exciting Big Ten men's hockey series this past weekend between the Michigan State Spartans and the Penn State Nittany Lions. So guys, we know this series was pretty interesting, but what are your takeaways from Friday's game? What stood out to you?
The biggest takeaway for me was coming from the Spartans side. The Spartans had 31 block shots in the first game against Penn State. That really set the tone for the game because Michigan State came out with the defensive mindset, shot blocking, back check, and really forced Penn State's passes. They weren't crisp, straight up. The thing that stood out to me the most was their breakouts. Penn State did not have very good breakouts. Puck possession was poor. Saturday was a lot better, but I think they need to stay out of the penalty box. That's been a problem this whole season. So I expect that to change against Minnesota.
Yeah, I mean, Friday, really, Michigan State came out with the mindset that, look, we're not going to let them beat us defensively. They played a better defensive game. I mean, not that Penn State played bad defensively, but Michigan State, I mean, right from the get-go there. I mean, it was a slow first period. They got sticks on everything. And, I mean, Penn State really, after that, kind of hesitated to take shots. They couldn't get open, and, you know, that's why they struggled to find the back of the net at all.
And also another thing that was a problem, they took their foot off the gas late in the third. They were outshot 12-7 in the second game. You can't take your foot off the gas. You got to play full 60 minutes or it's going to cost you.
All right, now let's talk about game two. I mean, the team won the second game, thankfully, but what adjustments did they make to secure the win?
Yeah, I mean, really, they did a great job coming out Saturday and really using their speed to impose their will on Michigan State. Michigan State wanted to play a slower style game, more physical, like they did on Friday night, whereas Penn State isn't that physical of a team. They don't have, besides Pavlichev, Tyler Gratton, they have a couple guys that play physically, but Penn State is really more of a high octane offense, and really passing a lot and that kind of thing. But, I mean, Penn State really did a great job coming out and taking every open shot that they had on Saturday night. And Evan Barrett, I mean, look at his goal. Woo! That was amazing. I mean, they established a great net front presence. That was the other key Saturday night, as I think you were alluding to.
Yeah, for sure. Knowing Michigan State's defense, they like to collapse low. So Penn State did a really good job working the puck up high. And getting those shots through because Michigan State had active sticks. Their D were moving sticks side to side that really tried to stop Penn State from moving the puck east-west, north-south. So I think we did a really good job coming back from a 2-0 loss. But again, you can't take your foot off the pedal for sure.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was the big problem. In the third period, they got outshot. They really had no puck possession at all. It just kind of looked like a lack of effort on defense. I mean, look at the Kodorenko goal for Michigan State. He completely danced around the entire defense. That was not Peyton Jones' fault. He played a great game, but that was just a defensive breakdown. And they really let the team back into this. And this really should not have been that close of a game.
And Penn State didn't play a bad first game. They played well, it's just they couldn't finish. John Letherman, the Michigan State goaltender, he was fantastic. He was really good down low, post to post, didn't give up a lot of rebounds. That Pavlichev chance, that stung. But, we responded really well. Another thing that has been a problem for this team all the way is penalties. Although our penalty kill is strong, we need to stay out of the penalty box. Cole Holtz even took an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. That doesn't need to happen.
No, I completely agree. So even though the series was a split, who do you think really had a great weekend overall?
Yeah, I think Arnie Talvidi had a great series, especially the second game. He had 2 assists there. Great passes. The one he found Sternshine there on the breakaway for the goal. He's been all over the ice. I mean, it seemed like every time he took a shift, he was out there along the boards battling for loose pucks. He really stood out to me, and I think right now, I mean, he looks like a steal for the Devils there in the 6th round. I mean, he had a great season last year, but he got hurt halfway through, and he's averaging right now a point a game. And he looks like one of those guys that after this wave of seniors and juniors graduates, he's going to be the next captain or next really offensive center point to this team.
Another guy that is another team that is lucky to have Evan Barrett, the Chicago Blackhawks, after that highlight reel goal. It's the second year in a row he's done something like that. Lacrosse goal that he had against Michigan last year. You know what? Goaltender Peyton Jones, along the line of goaltending, like I mentioned earlier, he played really well, as usual. The first goal of the first game, that was kind of a fluke bounce. And he's still their number one guy. We don't have a lot of time with him. He's a senior. But he's had a great career with the Nittany Lions for sure.
Yeah. One person I want to mention, Clayton Phillips, getting his first goal as a Nittany Lion,
Yes.
transfer from Minnesota. Moving on to that, so coming off a Big Ten series split, how do you think Penn State's going to do in their next Big Ten series this weekend against the University of Minnesota?
Well, just looking back a couple years ago to when Penn State went on that run in 2017 to win the Big Ten tournament, they really started their kind of era of dominance against Minnesota. They've gone 9-2 in their last 11 games against them. And Minnesota is a little bit weaker this year. They're not when everybody thinks Minnesota hockey, they think about their dominance in the past. They're a little bit weaker this year. They graduated their top 3 scorers from last year. So I think Penn State really should be able to, beat them. However, Minnesota's goalie has been very good as a freshman. So they're going to rely a lot like Michigan State on their goaltending and defense. But again, Minnesota's special teams, their power play has been really bad, 41st in all of college hockey. And their penalty kill has been pretty bad too. So Penn State really needs to take advantage of that.
Yeah, what Chris said there, special teams are always key. Another thing that Penn State did a really good job of, and they need to carry on, is the forecheck. That's where they generated a lot of their chances from. Sixing lanes, that's what led to the Barrett goal. That's what led to the Pavlichev goal. And also the Phillips goal, on the boards there. He kind of ran the puck around the boards. So I expect this. I think it's going to be a split again, just because the penalties, I think, are still going to be a problem.
I completely agree. You guys made some really good points, and I think this series this weekend will be a really good one to watch. Well, that's all we have for us here on this edition of Penn State Sports Night. For Jacob Cheris and Chris Lemmo, I'm Lexy Leidlein. Thanks for watching, and have a great night. Thank you for watching our latest edition of Penn State Sports Night. If you're a fan of our content, please be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more clips. Also follow us on Twitter at PSSN TV and on Instagram at PSU Sports Night to keep up with the action. For all my colleagues, we are Penn State Sports Night.